Hey everyone, Boom Rays here, and I'm here to give you a Boom review. Yeah, I should probably change that. I sound like the Costco guys. Of Project Hail Mary, as, not to brag or anything, but I got to see an early screen of it, so yeah, UK big up. And I'm just going to give you my thoughts on it and whether it's worth the watch. So buckle up, guys, because this one is going to be a bit interesting. So, if you don't know, or you've just been living under a rock for the past year, Project Hail Mary is a new film directed by Chris Lord and Phil Miller, the guys responsible for the Lego Movie, Rise of the Spider-Verse, Cloud of Enchanted Meatballs, so on and so forth, and is based off the book with the same name, written by Andy Weir, I hope I pronounced that right, who's also responsible for The Martian. It follows Ryland Grace, played by Ryan Gosling, who wakes up on a spaceship with no recollection of why he's there, but slowly figures out he has to save Earth, as well as meeting an unexpected friend who may help him on his mission. So that's the brief plot description out of the way, and I'm going to try to not go into too much detail, make it too spoilery. Now, before I get into the nitty-gritty, and if you're just here to know whether it's worth the watch or not, I'm just going to get to that straight away. It is 100% worth the watch. The soundtrack is phenomenal, and the licensed music works most of the time, except for one instance, but we'll get into that later. The performances are all great, and Ryan Gosling has a great performance in this, as well as the rest of the cast, even though they're not the main focus of the film quite as much as Ryan Gosling himself. The story is also really intriguing and engaging, and had me guessing as to where it was going to lead to throughout the whole film. And I think this goes without saying, but the cinematography in this film for the space scenes is gorgeous. Especially for one scene in the middle. If you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. But the colours are so vivid and awe-inspiring, and was probably one of my favourite scenes in the whole film. So if you're wondering if Project Hail Mary is worth your time, it 100% is. And I'd recommend you go and see it as soon as possible. And if you can, in the biggest screen you can find. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into a bit more spoilery talk. And if you don't want to hear spoilery talk, skip to this time frame here. Now, I definitely had an interesting time watching this film. I'd been really drained and was kind of tired when I first started watching it. So, I wasn't too big on the first half as I am on the second half. But, in retrospect, the first half is still very good. But I think some of my grievances with the first half, as to me not liking it when I was first watching it, was due to a few personal problems I had with the film itself, although they are more so nitpicks and only to do with the first half. First off, as I said, whilst the film does look great in those space shots and for most of the film, when we get the first few scenes on Earth, I wasn't the biggest fan of the cinematography, and to me, it looked too much like an Amazon original, but it wasn't too big of a problem, as the film slowly went along, I got more used to it, and the film also made up with it for all the shots set in space, which were amazing. Now, for my personal experience of the film, the only real trailer I'd seen was when I went to go and see Jurassic World Rebirth, and it played alongside the Odyssey trailer and some others, and I was hyped as heck for this, so I basically avoided all other trailers and didn't really rewatch that original trailer that many times, so I kind of went in not knowing that much, and because of that, I did enjoy the first half a bit less, as going into it, I thought it was more going to be a big, grand, space, interstellar-like adventure, but if you've seen it, it is more focused on Ryan Gosling's character and Rocky, the alien he befriends. And at first, when those scenes were happening, I was thinking to myself, what are we doing here? But once I realised that this was more so the main core of the film, I enjoyed it a lot better. And even some of the scenes of them just bonding and being in that sort of Earth room thing put a big smile on my face. And yeah, so as well, most of these problems I have are rectified as the film goes on, but I feel like I'd just say them anyway, just in case if anyone else felt this way. But one aspect which I do have a tiny bit more with is the action scenes. Now, there aren't many action scenes, as it is, as I said, more about the core relationship between Ryan Gosling and Rocky. But there's this big sort of like, not really a big climactic like edge of your seat scene near the second act of the film. And whilst the scene is good and the action is decent to pretty good, there are a few quick cuts and shaky cam which kind of took me out of the film, as I couldn't really fully tell what's going on. It's not like Quantum of Solace level where feels like if you just miss one cut, you have no idea where the characters are. But I think it could have been a bit less shaky and just more so a bit more clear cutting instead of all quick cut and then it's all over the place. Okay, not over the place, but you know what I mean, sort of. And then further on from that scene, when it does seem like Grace is about to die and all the lights in the ship are flashing red, sometimes the strobe light effect in that scene was just going so... It was flashing a bit too much. If they want to keep that in, it definitely does add to the dramaticness of the scene. Maybe just a bit toned down or just a bit more slow, I think, could have made the scene less, like, hurting the eyes a tiny bit. Because with the amount of strobe lights, it was a bit hard to see, like, Rocky's big action in that scene of him saving Grace. My only last little nitpick is when Ryan and Rocky are sort of having their fake out goodbye. And it was like, this got me feeling like leaning over in my chair. And movies do not make me do that most of the time. So that was definitely, the score was so beautiful. And then as he burns like the bridge, it then just cuts to licensed music. And don't get me wrong, the licensed music in that scene is good, but it just took me so out of the scene. But then I sort of got a bit more used to that licensed music. Again, most of the problems I have, or problems in air quotes with this, are stuff I just need to get used to. And once I had, it was just still good. So now I know sounds like I've been complaining throughout this whole video, but Project Hail Mary is really good. Just everything, as I said before the video, it's so good. So yeah, that's basically all I have to say. I really want to start doing more reviews going forward, so if you're into that stuff, maybe give this one a like and a follow if you got the time. But anyway, I'm going to give Project Hail Mary a 9 out of 10. And that's all from me, guys, so I'll see you guys next time I upload. Hopefully soon.